Hello, gorgeous witches. This is Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I wanted to talk about taking your power back from your abusers. What I wanted to mention before I get into this is that if you are in an abusive relationship right now, please, please, please find somebody to talk to. Find somebody qualified to help you get out of that relationship. Especially if they are a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist. They can be very dangerous, and a lot of times it's not apparent how dangerous they can be until you try to get away from them. All right, so please get help if you need to get out of a relationship that is very abusive. So now let's talk about what it is that binds us to our abusers. So there's two things that bind us. Well, it all boils down to one thing, really, is fear. Okay, so anger comes from fear. It's being afraid that somebody or something is invading your space, invading your personal space. There's fear there that they will do something harmful, okay? The energy of anger is to protect our boundaries, to say, hey, you're going too far. I'm really getting upset here. Technically, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with anger. All right, there's nothing wrong with emotions. Emotions are our guidance system to tell us whether we're on the right track or not. And if I'm feeling upset, well, it means there's something not right and I need to investigate, okay? What binds us to our abusers is anger, fear, and resentment. And these things show up because we need to take care of something. So I feel resentment towards somebody because there's unresolved something. I feel like they've overstepped their boundaries. I've felt like they're harmful. They possibly could do something bad to me. So I'm fearful. Okay, so an abuser is somebody who takes advantage of you, who manipulates you, who does things that you feel uncomfortable about. Sometimes we let them know, sometimes we don't. So sometimes telling the abuser, listen, this is working, this doesn't feel good to me. I need you to change your behavior. I need you to change the way you're talking to me. Sometimes that works. It depends on the individual. If they take it as an attack, you're attacking them, you're accusing them of being not respectful or not kind or not, you know what I mean? Then they might see it as an attack, and then they become even more agitated and angry, and they might try and manipulate you even more or aggravate you even more. Kind of depends on the individual and the situation. So the best thing you can do is what goes on internally. So when I am feeling resentful towards somebody, I am giving them power. I am giving them control over whatever the situation is that has gotten me upset, and they're abusing me for one reason or another. Maybe they're manipulating me, maybe they're making me look bad on purpose, or making up lies to maybe try and get me fired or get people turned against me, or whatever it is. I mean, there's so many different ways that a person can abuse another person. The number one thing I can do is to not hold on to resentment, anger, fear. And I know in certain situations that's really hard, because maybe you're in maybe it's your boss. You can't afford to lose your job, right? So what do? One of the things I've seen with my clients that is so powerful is that when they change the inside, everybody around them starts changing how they treat them. So if my client goes through, we go through a lot of their childhood stuff and start healing things, and they start feeling so much better about themselves and feeling confident. They exude that energy to those around them. And a lot of times, something I've noticed personally, a lot of times people act out. They don't realize they're acting out. And what I've found is that when I respond to them in a place of love and compassion, eventually that person stops acting out to me. This has happened to me. I'll tell you a story. I think I've told this story before. I used to work in a yoga studio, and I took care of the front desk. And there's this woman who would come in and she'd just kind of grunt, you know, just come in with a bad attitude. I'd say hello to her and she'd so I would constantly just be cheerful when she came in, knowing that she's going to be in a disgruntled mood and she's going to not be very happy and not smile at me. That didn't matter to me. It was important to me to show love and compassion. And about after the third time, she started smiling and saying hello. So it makes a big difference how we respond and how we feel to other people. So if I feel scared to another person, that person might react to me feeling scared. And depending on the person, they may act one way or another. But like in a situation where your boss is kind of a heavy presence, like they have a very strong personality, and they want things done and they want it done now. You need to get your act together. You need to do it. And they're very overpowering. If I recoil and, go hide and very uncomfortable with this person, that person might react in a way of she's weak and I'm going to push her around because she's weak and I can't stand weak people. And this very well could be all unconscious, all coming through unconsciously. And so that boss could be abusive, and sometimes this works. I could go up to him, stand up to him and say, look, you need to stop. You need to please. And don't say look. I said look. Don't say look. Hey, look, I'm telling you right now. That can be very confrontational. So don't say look. But present it to them in a very mature, self-confident way. I need you to talk to me with a, tone down a little bit. It really makes me feel uncomfortable. Sometimes standing up to a boss like that it depends on the person, in a very self-confident, loving, compassionate way, not in your ego, like how dare you, no, but in a very loving and confident way. Sometimes that will wake them up. Oh, okay, well, this person is not weak. And then they start treating you with respect. And I've seen that a few times, and it's quite mind-blowing. Taking your power back from your abusers, and that's, letting go of the resentment, letting go of the fear, letting go of the anger about what they did to you. And I've got to stress this very, very clearly. I'm going to repeat this several times because people, they hear me say you got to let go of this stuff and they think, oh my gosh, that means I'm letting them off the hook. That means I'm telling them I'm okay with what they did. And that's not what I'm saying. There's two different things. I still believe that if somebody has done harm to you, you need to call the authorities, have them arrested, take them to court. You do spells if you wish. You need to do the whole 9 yards. Letting go of resentment means that, and anger and the fear, when you let go of that, you disconnect from them and the whole abusive situation and everything that they've done to you. And when you do that, then you can cast your spell and you're not attached to the abuser. All right? It's very, very important. If you're going to bind somebody or curse somebody or freeze somebody, you need to be disconnected from them. And if you're feeling resentment, you're still connected. And when you're still connected and you do that spell, sometimes that spell will happen for you as well as the other person. So that I have learned. Got to disconnect. Okay, so how do you do this? I'm going to show you an exercise that has been incredibly powerful for me. And I've loved it so much. I use it on and off. Depends on what's going on. I've used it, well, I'll tell you the story. A credit card company. Okay, I was in a bad situation and all my credit cards were maxed out. And after, I think about 3 months, they charge off. And what that means is they have found alternative ways of getting their money back. So one of the things these credit card companies have is insurance. So if they lose that debt, so I'm no longer going to be paying that debt back, that's a loss for them. So they can go to the insurance company and file a claim and get some or all of that money back. Another thing they do is they sell it to bill collectors. Well, this one credit card company decided to, I don't know if they sold it. It kind of looked like they did not. They just hired an attorney who got a subpoena. And so one day a police officer showed up at my door and said, "Here you go, a subpoena to appear in court if I didn't start making payment." And I was so pissed. My credit cards are maxed out for a reason, right? I'm struggling, I'm having a problem. And a lot of times these credit card companies really don't care. They'll sell your debt to a bill collector. And I don't know if you've ever heard of these people or have experienced it, but they will call you up and they will berate you, and they will talk down to you and tell you you need to pay this. And actually, so I'm not going to get into that because there's a lot of legal stuff. You can look into it yourself. So I was really pissed because I felt like, they have this insurance, they could write it off and collect the insurance money. But instead they came after me. A lawyer filing suit against me, there's no way out of that. A bill collector, you can just not take the calls, right? So I worked it out, I made it work, made it happen. Things had changed by the time I got that subpoena, so I was able to work it out. But I was pissed. Really angry and resentful at the credit card company for doing this to me. So I'm going to do the exercise with them in mind, okay? And then you can get an idea of how to do the exercise. Now, this is something you want to do separate from your journal because you're going to burn the paper. And I think that's important because you're really disconnecting from your abuser, attacker, whoever it is that is made you resentful. Okay, so I'm going to move you over to the desk so you can see what I'm doing. Okay guys, so my for some reason my phone quit recording. So but anyway, draw an oval, put the name of the person at the top, then at the bottom all of this and anything more. Okay, so and I guess I better tell you, I've got my candles going, so I have this sacred space that I've created. Also a burn bowl, so you can burn inside here safely. That could be an ashtray, that could be cast iron pot, whatever works. It is fireproof. Okay, so all of this and anything more, just in case I missed something, credit card company or the person's name. This is your karma, not mine. That is so huge in helping you let go of their crap that they're putting on you. All right? This is super, super important. And I refuse to carry it anymore. Okay, so what goes inside this oval is all of their bad traits. So say if this is a person, maybe they're a chronic liar. Write that down. They badmouth people. Write that down. Things that annoy you that they do, like they snore or they chew with their mouth open, put all that stuff down, okay? So this is their stuff that you're feeling resentful or upset about, okay? So it could be something that annoys you. Write it all down because that's their stuff and you're hanging on to it. You're feeling upset about it. So credit card company kicks me when I'm down. You has insurance to pay them back. Remember, instead they hired a lawyer and use whatever words you hear in your head. So you keep going and you can, write it all over the place. So I had a falling out with my mother. It was, she's very politically motivated, okay? So she was upset at me. I had some misunderstanding. She thought I was a Trump supporter, and that was not the case, but she could not see it otherwise, and she kept coming at me. So, and it was really upsetting to me. So I did this on her, and it helped me realize everything she was accusing me of and being bitter towards me and angry towards me and resentful towards me was her stuff. And I was getting upset because of her stuff. So I needed to let that go. And that's exactly what I did. So I filled this out with a whole bunch of, stuff that she was saying to me, not being loving and being harsh and hateful and unkind. So fill this up with the things that you are feeling agitated towards the other person, resentful to the other person. Then crumple this up. I'm going to do this off to the side because it's really noisy and loud. And ta-da! Okay, I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. If it's really tight, it has a hard time burning. And now that I have this, I want to burn it and put it in here. I have some ashes that need to go outside so we can do this all together, all these ashes. Now, when you're done with it, you can flush the ashes down the toilet if you don't have a yard where you can bury it. You can bury it. I do not recommend putting it in like running water, like a river or a lake or something. You could get into trouble, and depending on, I don't think it's really harmful, but still, just rather not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is say something while I'm doing this, okay? So I'm going to burn this baby. Okay, so it is burned all the way down, and I pulled it off to the side because I didn't want to damage my phone. So I'm going to put it off to the side over here. It's still really hot, and this is what I'm going to say. I now refuse to ingest any more toxic energy anchored to, and then say the person's name, so this credit card company. I now refuse to feel those feelings any longer. I release them once and for all. And then at the end, you can say thank you to whatever deity you're working with. So it could be Mother, Father, God, could be Goddess, could be Spirit. Okay, so then you want to repeat it 2 more times. I now refuse to ingest any more toxic energy. And that's huge, because when you're resentful, it's because of their toxic energy. So you're letting that go. So if it's your father, say your father's name. If it's, your cousin or your boss, say their name. I refuse to ingest any more toxic energy. That is so huge. Okay, is Mercury in retrograde? I'm serious. This, I don't know what happened, but evidently when I moved the phone from the desk to the tripod, all of a sudden I was upside down. The video on my phone looked fine. Looked like I was right side up. And then when I went to edit it, it was upside down. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to say that I want to encourage you to use this exercise whenever you feel emotionally upset with somebody, resentment, feel afraid of them, feel upset by them, they're under your skin, they drive you crazy, they agitate you, and recognize that it's their stuff, it's not yours. And if they're abusing you, seek help to remedy that situation. If you're in a romantic relationship with somebody like that, please find somebody who can help you, because it can be very dangerous. My mother and I lived with her boyfriend when we lived in LA, and he was abusive, and he told her that if she ever left him, he would kill her. Lovely. So anyway, we arranged to quickly pack our things while he was at work. My aunt and uncle came over. My uncle got a hold of a truck, a big flatbed kind of truck, and we just hauled all our stuff out quickly as we could and left. So, but it can be dangerous, so please be careful. One really quick thing I wanted to say is that a lot of times people project stuff onto another person, and then they attack that person. Like they'll project their father, and subconsciously, of course, onto another person and then attack them as if that was their father. I think one of the things we're learning right now with all the Proud Boys and a lot of protests and a lot of contention going on here is we're learning not only do we have differences, of course, but we need to, let me put it this way, we need to learn compassion for the other person and understand and really truly listen. Nobody listens anymore. They misinterpret people all the time. I see it with the journalists on the news all the time. And it blows my mind. Didn't you listen? Didn't you hear the words he was using? That is not what he was saying. It drives me crazy. It blows my mind. We need to listen and really truly listen and pay attention and be compassionate. Instead of react to the person, show compassion and understanding and really try to understand the other person. Okay, so I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your comments. Please let me know if this works for you. So do something today that brings you joy and makes you feel good. I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.